So what's it like to buy your first cryptocurrency on Kraken? Well, let's say I'm at a food truck I've never tried before. Am I gonna go all in on the loaded taco? No, sir. I'm keeping it simple, starting small. That's trading on Kraken. Pick from over 190 assets and start with the $10 in your pocket. Easy. Go to kraken.com and see what crypto can be. Not investment advice. Crypto trading involves risk of loss. Cryptocurrency services are provided to U.S. and U.S. territory customers by Payward Interactive Inc., PWI, DBA Kraken. View PWI's disclosures at kraken.com/legal/disclosures.
This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
This is Optimal Work Daily. The Passion Trap: How the Search for Your Life's Work is Making Your Working Life Miserable, by Cal Newport of calnewport.com. The Priest and the Parachute. It began with a joke. In 1968, Richard Bowles, an Episcopal priest from San Francisco, was in a meeting when someone complained about colleagues bailing out of a troubled organization. To remind the group to return to this topic, Bowles jotted a clever phrase on the blackboard: "What color is your parachute?" The line got a laugh, but as Bowles recalls in a 1999 interview with Fast Company, "I had no idea it would take on all this additional meaning." 2 years later, Bowles lost his job as a priest and was shuffled into an administrative position in the Episcopal Church, advising campus ministers, many of whom were also in danger of losing their jobs. Noticing a lack of good advice on the topic, Bowles self-published a 168-page guide to navigating career changes, which he handed out for free. Looking for a catchy title, he repurposed his Blackboard one-liner. The initial print run was 100 copies. The premise of Bowles' guide sounds self-evident to the modern ear. Figure out what you like to do, and then find a place that needs people like you. But in 1970, this concept was a radical notion. At the time, the idea of doing a lot of pen and paper exercises in order to take control of your own career was regarded as a dilettante's exercise, Bowles recalls. It was also, however, a period of extreme workplace transition as the post-war industrial economy crumbled before an ascendant knowledge work sector. Uncertain employees craved guidance, and Bowles' optimistic strategies resonated. The book that began with a 100-copy print run and a clever name has since become one of the best-selling titles of the century with over 6 million copies in print. This story is important because it emphasizes that one of the most universal and powerful ideas in modern society, that the key to workplace happiness is to follow your passion, has a surprisingly humble origin. What began as a quip jotted down on a blackboard grew into the core principle guiding our thinking about work. What color is my parachute, we now ask, confident that answering this question holds the answer to the good life. But when we recognize that this strategy is not self-evident, and in fact not even all that old, we can begin to question whether or not it's actually right. And when we do, it's dismaying what we find. The Passion Trap. Let's summarize Bowles' insight as follows. The key to a fulfilling career is to first figure out what you're passionate about, and then go find a job to match. For simplicity, I'll call this the passion hypothesis. We can think of the past 40 years, the post-parachutes era, as a vast experiment testing the validity of this hypothesis. The results of this experiment, unfortunately, are not pretty. The latest Conference Board survey of U.S. job satisfaction, released earlier this year, found only 45% of Americans are satisfied with their jobs. This number has been steadily decreasing from the mark of 61% recorded in 1987, the first year of the survey. As Lynn Franco, the director of the board's Consumer Research Center, notes, this is not just about a bad business cycle. Quote, "Through both economic boom and bust during the past 2 decades, our job satisfaction numbers have shown a consistent downward trend." End quote. Though many factors can account for workplace unhappiness, a major cause identified by the survey is that, quote, "fewer workers consider their jobs to be interesting," end quote. Put another way, as we've placed more importance on the passion hypothesis, we've become less interested and therefore more unhappy with the work we have. I call this effect the passion trap, which I define as follows. The passion trap. The more emphasis you place on finding work you love, the more unhappy you become when you don't love every minute of the work you have. I argue that the passion trap is an important contributing factor to our steadily decreasing workplace satisfaction. So far, however, My evidence for this claim is circumstantial at best, and we need to dig deeper. The young and the anxious. If the passion trap is real, recent college graduates should be the most affected. At this young age, before the demands and stability of family, their careers are more likely to define their identity. It's also the period where they feel the most control over their path and therefore also feel the most anxiety about their decisions. This predicts, therefore, that the passion trap would make young workers the most unhappy. Not surprisingly, this is exactly what the Conference Board survey finds. Roughly 64% of workers under 25 say that they are unhappy in their jobs, the highest levels of dissatisfaction measured for any age group over the 22-year history of the survey. To better understand why young people are so unhappy, let's turn to Alexandra Robbins and Abby Wilner's 2001 Ode to Youth Disaffection, Quarter-Life Crisis. This book chronicles the personal testimony of dozens of unhappy 20-somethings, and as the passion trap predicts, most of the stories revolve around uncertainty regarding the search for the right job. Consider, for example, the tale of Scott, a 27-year-old from Washington, D.C. Quote, "My professional situation now couldn't be more perfect," Scott reports. "I chose to pursue the career I knew in my heart I was passionate about, politics." Scott succeeded in this pursuit. Though he had to start at the bottom as a volunteer campaign aide, within 2 short years after college graduation, he had the, quote, "Capitol Hill job I dreamed of," end quote. Rationally, he should be happy with his work. He says, "I love my office, my friends, even my boss." Yet he's not. It's not fulfilling, he despairs. Scott has since restarted his search for his life's work. "I've committed myself to exploring other options that interest me," Scott says, "but I'm having a hard time actually thinking of a career that sounds appealing." The passion hypothesis was so ingrained into Scott's psyche that even his dream job, once obtained, couldn't live up to the fantasy. Unhappiness followed. Story after story in Quarter-Life Crisis follow this same script. "I graduated from college wanting nothing more than the ultimate job for me," says Jill. Not surprisingly, she hasn't found it. "I'm so lost about what I want to do," despairs 24-year-old Elaine, "that I don't even realize what I'm sacrificing or compromising." And so on. The passion trap strikes again and again and again in these pages. This all points toward a troubling conclusion. Not only is the passion hypothesis wrong, it's also potentially dangerous, leading us into a passion trap that increases our feelings of unhappiness and uncertainty. Happiness beyond passion. These initial articles in my Rethinking Passion series have been negative. My goal was to tear down our assumptions about workplace happiness, because as long as we cling to the passion hypothesis, other factors will remain obscured in its high wattage glare. Soon, however, I'll be taking on the positive task of figuring out what does matter. I've written at length about the importance of ability and craftsmanship in developing passion for your work, but I also want to explore equally important and equally nuanced factors, such as authenticity. Why are we attracted to the stories of people living simply in beautiful surroundings? Autonomy. What's the importance of having control over when and how you work? And mission. How vital is a cause for transforming work into something meaningful? Stay tuned for this discussion to continue. And in the meantime, I welcome your own reflections on the reality, not cliches, of finding fulfilling work. You just listened to the post titled "The Passion Trap: How the Search for Your Life's Work is Making Your Working Life Miserable" by Cal Newport of calnewport.com.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
When it comes to hiring, don't go searching for the one. Just meet your match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree. Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/startup. So just go to Indeed.com/startup right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/startup. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And thank you to Cal, who, like yesterday's author, is super accomplished and a person that we narrate across a bunch of our shows. He's got a few really popular books. Two you may have heard of are So Good They Can't Ignore You and Deep Work. Both of those are really highly reviewed. He completed his undergraduate studies at Dartmouth College back in 2004, got a PhD from MIT in 2009 in computer science. He was a postdoctoral associate in the MIT Computer Science Department from 2009 to 2011. That same year, he joined Georgetown University as an assistant professor of computer science and was granted tenure in 2017. And again, he has multiple popular books that are definitely worth checking out, plus his blog, which is called Study Hacks. And last, you can check out his relatively new podcast, which is called Deep Questions. And you can find all of that at calnewport.com. But if I were you, I'd probably go check out his books first. And I think that's going to do it for today. I hope you have a happy Thursday if you're listening in real time. And thanks so much for being a subscriber. It really helps us build our numbers and keep this show going and growing. And I will see you back here tomorrow in the Friday show, where your optimal life awaits.